Hi guys, Koukun here, coming at you with another video about real estate investing. So today I'm going to tackle the question of should you invest in a REIT or a real estate investment trust, or should you actually buy a rental property? Now, the way a REIT is structured is such that it is a stock that is listed on the stock exchanges where you can buy shares. So they range between $20 to some maybe 100, 150. So within that range, and you own a tiny piece of a company that owns real estate. So these REITs typically own apartment buildings, office buildings, shopping plazas, large pieces of real estate. And every month or every 3 months, every quarter, typically most REITs pay out a dividend. So this can range between 4 to maybe say 8% is the usual range. So every month or every 3 months, they pay out a dividend, right? So many people like them, and I also like them when compared to most stocks because they have a strong dividend. The underlying asset is real estate, which I sort of understand. And when comparing to most stocks, it's a little bit more stable. Typically, their history has been quite good in terms of the asset increasing, in terms of the price of the REIT, as well as continuously increasing the dividend payments. So when compared to most stocks, I like them. However, I personally do not own any right now, though I used to own a few shares of this REIT called Dream REIT or Dream Office REIT. Back then it was called Dundee REIT, where it's a company that owns quite a few office buildings within Canada, right? And at that time it was paying about an 8% dividend. I was still saving up some money to put into a rental property. So instead of having those funds just lying in cash, I decided to put it in there. It didn't do too great. It didn't do badly. I think I made about 8% in the year I bought it and sold it basically at the same price, but just got a dividend payment. So it was okay. However, my preference is buying actual real estate. So for example, here's a scenario, right? Say you have $60,000 in a REIT. You're going to get an 8% dividend, and potentially that stock price may go up. Who knows, 5%, 10%, maybe go down some years. It'll range, right? If you take that same money, you can buy typically a $300,000 rental property, right? You put a 20% down payment, you get an 80% mortgage. Here is where the beauty is in buying an actual rental property. Because you can get a mortgage of up to 80%, you're owning a much larger asset. So even if that property only appreciates 5% in a given year, your actual return is 5 times that amount. You get a 25% increase because you've put 20%, but the actual entire asset has increased by 5%. And because you're looking for much smaller investment properties, so the properties I buy typically are not being looked at by REITs because it's too small for them to think about managing it or think about acquiring a large enough amount of them that it makes sense for them. So as a result, typically I can find properties that the returns would be a little bit better than those properties that REITs look at, because REITs look at very large complexes, apartment buildings, shopping centers, and with those type of buildings, there's so many investors with a large amount of capital looking to put their investment in those buildings that the return is driven quite down because the purchase price is really pushed quite high. So as a result, buying smaller properties individually, I can find opportunities that a large REIT would not be looking at, and I get the power of leverage on my side by getting a mortgage of up to 80% of the property value. So that's my personal thoughts. So, a REIT is not a bad idea if you're looking to put some money as a savings, maybe until you have enough of a down payment to purchase a property. But as a long-term investment strategy, I would prefer just owning actual rental properties because I feel long-term you're going to do far better owning a few rental properties than owning shares in a REIT. So those are my thoughts. If you have any questions, always feel free to comment below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.